Olivia promised her children that today during the afternoon she would have quiet time. You can't finish all the housework anyway, so it would be Amelia and Noah, her, a fairy tale, and cuddles. They wouldn't settle in threes on the parental bed, and then Olivia would tell the fairy tale and wait until 6-year-old Noah and 4-year-old Amelia amicably snored. Olivia would carefully get up, check if the children were well covered, and go to the kitchen to prepare dinner. They would dine in threes. They almost always did in threes. Her husband Liam was constantly either on a flight or, as he said, at debriefings of flights. And in those rare hours when he was home, the children hardly got his attention, just like Olivia. She could say she was used to it, but the habit was mixed with resentment. Olivia and the children loved Liam very much, and he knew it, but he didn't reciprocate. Either he was tired, or he found something on the internet, or he urgently needed to go to his mom. But when they met, Olivia was on cloud nine. A pilot, handsome, attentive, blowing dust off her. He made the proposal so beautifully. When they got married, all the dentistry where Olivia worked envied her. Well, about not Chicago now her work, and in dentistry she regretted almost as much as the constant absence of Liam. The job of a nurse in a dental office suited Olivia. She more than once praised herself for once gathering courage and leaving home for this city to enter medical school. She left because she felt her mom wouldn't stop her. Mom had no time for Olivia now. She had a husband and a little son, and she was happy. Mom even became prettier, and their apartment became rich. Very well earned, James. He didn't offend. Rather, he accepted her as an appendix to Mom, and that was something Olivia endured. But the fact that Mom stopped paying attention to her was hard to bear, and Olivia increasingly caught herself thinking that she needed to leave. She loved her little brother. She never stopped loving Mom. Why, she was grateful for Mom, but she didn't want to live with them. She didn't want to be extra. Olivia entered the school. Although the competition was big, they gave her a place in the dormitory. She called Mom, but even for vacations she didn't come. She worked part-time in the hospital. And even on the first course, she found a job as a janitor in the county hospital. She shared the rate with Isabella, from whom she studied in the same group and lived with her in the same room. They were similar in many ways with Isabella, including being extra in their native home. Also not spoiled, both, so the girls had enough money for a modest life. Well, after school they had to part. Isabella married a young Lieutenant Oliver and left with him far to his place of service. Olivia accidentally found a place in dentistry. She was lucky that she managed to rent a room from one elderly married couple near work and for little money. And in this very dentistry, Olivia met Liam. He came to whiten his teeth, although he already had a sparkling smile. But when he came the second time, Liam already in pilot uniform, Olivia understood that impeccable teeth were definitely important to him. Liam looked like from a magazine cover, and later she learned that he often starred in ads and not only in pilot uniform. The management not only knew about it, they often released him from flights if shooting for a magazine or video started, and almost always the frame included the airport or runway, and it was effective advertising for the local airport. And why such a handsome young pilot noticed Olivia, she didn't understand. At the reception in the office, Olivia was always in a cap, hiding her hair and a mask. No, Olivia didn't consider herself a gray mouse, but she wasn't a beauty in her own imagination either. Moreover, Liam was the first who so clearly paid attention to Olivia. He was persistent but not rude and unobtrusive. When there were no flights and Liam warned in advance if he was going to fly for a day or two, he waited for Olivia after work and they went first to the park where they already had a favorite bench, then just walked. Olivia didn't agree to a restaurant. Firstly, she had never been there, and secondly, she guessed that there was no appropriate dress in her modest wardrobe. Although dressing well helped Olivia's innate taste, but it was rather universal clothing for all occasions. True, always excellently fitting on Olivia's slim figure. And Liam probably understood what the matter was because he never insisted, though he dreamed, hoped Olivia to hear the main words from him. But she... Liam is so handsome. He has an important job and he lives, as he said himself, in his own apartment, which he received as a gift from his parents. So is it time for him? And Olivia, who has neither such beauty, nor fashionable clothes, nor an apartment. No, she's not an orphan. Parents exist, only not at all like Liam's, and they definitely won't gift her an apartment. Such main words and proposal to marry him, Liam said. handed her a red velvet box with a ring, and it was visible how he worried that he might not guess the size. He guessed and got Olivia's consent, and right there he led her to meet his mom. On the way, Liam told that his mom Sophia recently retired. She worked as a library manager. Dad passed away a year ago. Mom holds up. Liam's the only son. Mom cared for him before, now she does it with double strength. But Olivia will please her. Liam already told what a wonderful Olivia he has, and Mom has long been asking to introduce her to her. Olivia listened, nodded her head, but her heart was not in place. She already imagined the apartment where Liam was leading her and his mom, and understood that she would hardly fit into the house where Liam grew up. But after all, he has his own apartment, and there Olivia will do everything to fit in. Almost everything was as Olivia imagined. The apartment was large, furniture, carpets, paintings, many books. And Sophia herself was dressed to the nines, and it was clear that not at all for going to the theater or restaurant. Apparently, dressing to the nines is the norm, her habit. Well, for Olivia, unattainable. Unattainable turned out to be the table setting, the dishes that were already standing, but most of all, Olivia was scared by the snow-white linen napkins towering in a cone near each place setting. Olivia vaguely guessed how to use them, but feared she would make a fool of herself. But she would unfold this napkin, and then what to do with it? Olivia waited how Liam would handle the napkin and repeated after him. Sophia asked Olivia a couple of questions about her parents, if she studied somewhere, what she works as, but mostly talked to Liam, asked where he would fly next time, what advertising shoots are planned, and put snacks and cuts on her son's plate. Confidently put, exactly knowing that this is what Liam wants. From Olivia, she asked why she wasn't eating, and without waiting for an answer, switched back to Liam. He answered, or if his mouth was full, nodded his head. Olivia immediately understood that Sophia completely owns Liam, and he doesn't object. Well, if her native mom treated Olivia the same way, she wouldn't object either. In short, after meeting her future mother-in-law, Olivia understood that she would always have not an advisory voice in their future family, but a decisive one. But after all, they will live not with her, and Liam loves Olivia, so everything will be fine. In principle, at first it was so. Sophia had keys to their apartment, just like Liam to Mom's. At first, the mother-in-law didn't spoil them with her visits. She knew her son's flight schedule and came when Liam was home. Each time, Sophia just glanced around the apartment and almost didn't make remarks. Olivia, however, those that she did were with a clearly humiliating note. Say, on the new curtains that Olivia so carefully selected, trying to fit into her salary because she wanted to surprise Liam, the mother-in-law passed with one phrase. "Oh, I remembered. Such curtains were in the sanatorium where we rested with Dad 20 years ago." Or she gave comments to Olivia's new pantsuit that they bought together with Liam. "Not bad, not bad. If there were still stripes on the pants, it would be a universal set, both to go out and to take out the trash." Liam laughed. Olivia tried to smile, only it turned out badly for her, and she didn't dare to object to her mother-in-law. Soon, Olivia got pregnant, and then thought that becoming a grandmother, Sophia would soften. But the grandmother and mother-in-law became kinder to Olivia. No, only Olivia never complained to Liam about her. Yes, she didn't complain to anyone. The only friend lived far away. They called each other, but Olivia boldly loaded Isabella with her not so difficult, as she told herself, problems. She knew that Isabella also not simply. By that time, she already had 2 children, and they lived raw and still in the officer dormitory in one room, and Isabella frankly envied Olivia that she has a children's room and a bedroom and a common room. Sophia, if to count the time she spent first with grandson Noah, then with granddaughter Amelia too, saw them not more often than Liam. He, when not on flights, was on the studio shooting, then still obligatory boys' nights. The rest of the time, couch, laptop, and TV. For 6 years since he first became a father, only a few times he walked with the stroller himself. He said that controlling a plane is easier. Liam, as it's now customary to say, was non-conflict. He never started quarrels, at least the neighbors never heard swearing from their apartment, and Olivia realized that their family is considered strong and friendly. But she already began to doubt that she has a good family. No, Liam brought decent money home, didn't require a report on what Olivia spends them on, but never helped her in anything, neither with household nor with children. Olivia sometimes thought that her husband doesn't remember his children's birthdays. Well, and her birthday Liam definitely didn't remember. Yes, and Olivia didn't celebrate her birthday. True, Mom always called, then her brother started to join her. Olivia several times invited them to visit, but they always found a reason to refuse. But Isabella never forgot. She congratulated warmly, found such words from which Olivia felt simply easier. Always congratulated grandchildren and daughter-in-law Sophia, brought gifts, and long explained why she chose exactly this. The first gift Olivia won't forget. The mother-in-law gave her a menagerie and told what it is, and even made Olivia repeat what this vase with partitions is called. Sophia was sure that the daughter-in-law had never seen such dishes before. Here she was right, of course. Olivia really hadn't seen a menagerie before, but how offensively the mother-in-law explained to her. Or the insistent teachings of Sophia how and where to dress. Olivia, seeing her in a fancy dress on a summer evening when they came to her after insistent invitation, the mother-in-law looked her up and down and said in a pretended polite voice, "Olivia, pair, to feel and understand that stockings are obligatory to such a dress." Olivia was surprised. The heat was unbearable. What stockings, she asked, risked, one might say, to ask. It turned out she asked for her own head. In response, she heard that she, Olivia, should not compromise her son and Liam with bare legs. There's etiquette if Olivia is familiar with this word, and Olivia's status is the wife not of a loader or vegetable trader. She is the wife of a pilot, also advertising the airline. Olivia helplessly looked at Liam, but he was already hugging Mom and saying, "Yes, Mommy, I have an aristocrat. Only this aristocrat didn't wear stockings in summer, although you often were in a super fancy dress." Then Olivia would say to her, mother-in-law to be and Ketty, but she didn't say. Again, kept silent. What saved Olivia was that not every day she had to go visit Sophia. She called them to her usually on holidays. Most often Liam was on a flight on the holiday, and Olivia, who came to Sophia necessarily, was offended to tears that her husband is not by her side again. The mother-in-law guessed what Olivia was thinking. She always started the same conversation, how her Liam is busy, what a responsible job he has. That's why Olivia lives with children without need, so she needs to appreciate such a husband. Once at the table where two more of her friends sat, such groomed, independent theater-goers and book lovers, she directly said that Olivia needs to blow dust off her son. Well, Olivia again only silently nodded her head. When she with children, who they very loved to go to grandma's because Sophia forbade touching a lot in the apartment and to talk loudly and run definitely, so when Olivia returned home to an empty apartment, having put Noah and Amelia to bed, she gave vent to tears. Then she admitted to herself that she sat not in her sleigh. She doesn't reach the level of her handsome husband. Only to decide to radically change something she couldn't. Olivia still loves Liam and didn't want the children to grow without a father. Therefore, she repeated to them that Dad has an important job, and after such work he needs to rest, and saw that the children no longer delved into her words. Amelia and Noah perfectly felt Liam's attitude to them and to her, Olivia. They couldn't say yet, they didn't know such words yet, but children are the tuning fork of the family, and Olivia with fear waited when the children's attitude to Liam would splash out. To Grandma, they already don't hide this attitude, and if to call it one word, indifference. That's what Noah and Amelia felt towards Grandma, moreover indifference mutual. Olivia saw this and worried that the mother-in-law wouldn't start teaching, proving to the children that Grandma needs to be loved. Olivia didn't know what Amelia and Noah might say in response. She was used to keeping silent, but they didn't. Recently, Olivia didn't know for sure if Liam is faithful to her. There wasn't a single fact of his infidelity, but there was his indifference, his constant busyness, even if not in flight or not on shoots. comparing Liam of 7 years ago, when Olivia didn't doubt how he feels about her, and Liam today, she saw that it's boring, uninteresting, tiring for him at home with the family. But to Mom, Liam treated the same. He literally obeyed, and Sophia still managed and directed her son, starting from his clothes if it wasn't uniform, and to favorite dishes. Oh, these Liam's favorite dishes. Olivia already knew them by heart, and when the mother-in-law sometimes, without warning, came to them, she necessarily did an audit in the fridge. Is there what her son loves? And it doesn't matter if Liam was home or on a flight, Liam's favorite dishes must be available. And once Sophia came with news that very surprised Olivia. The mother-in-law was in such a hurry to share this news that she didn't even perform her usual ritual of carelessly stroking the fair-haired heads of her grandchildren. She immediately commanded, "Olivia, let's go to the kitchen. There's a talk about Liam." She didn't ask, but of course she knew that her son was on a flight. Sophia always knew everything about him. This Olivia could have no idea about something of Liam's, only not the mother-in-law. But this time, Sophia came exactly with some unusual news, and Olivia goes to the kitchen. Here she hears the news. Sophia talks about how she constantly thinks about the well-being of their family. Liam earns well, also moonlights. His family lives abundance. Olivia generally cannot think about money, but Liam's job is dangerous. It's the sky and the same distance. He is insured at work, only what is this amount, such a trifle? So Sophia insured her son to the maximum. Yes, every month we'll have to pay a decent contribution, but if suddenly, saying this, Sophia with a theatrical gesture brought a batiste handkerchief to her dry eyes and continued to expound. She said that having a safety cushion is simply necessary. If something happens to Liam, how will Olivia with children be? Now Olivia knows no grief, one might say. Doesn't count money, doesn't work, but they have enough. All Liam. Further, Olivia listened poorly. Where did her resentments towards Liam go if something really happens to him? But the mother-in-law vigilantly watched Olivia, noticed that the daughter-in-law is thinking about something. You listen, you wouldn't think of such yourself. So I already issued the insurance. Don't worry, I'll pay myself, and I'm telling you so you know. Liam doesn't need to know, and you won't say a word to him. Olivia, by habit, nods her head. Sophia gets up, goes to the children's room, utters her duty phrase. But grandchildren, it's time for Grandma. Grandma loves you, but I have a lot of work. Having closed the door behind the mother-in-law, Olivia remained in a stupor. After all, what Sophia just said quite may happen. Olivia herself knew that pilot is a dangerous profession. Now she absolutely didn't think about this safety cushion. She thought how to protect Liam. Maybe he would leave planes, engage in advertising shoots, but she realizes that she won't even dare to tell him about it. She generally dares little. It turned out so gradually. Liam didn't argue when Olivia rarely suggested something. He just let her words pass by his ears. Mom's he didn't let pass. Olivia, as Isabella said in such cases, divided into 16 commands. To command an order, no, Liam didn't do that. Only once, when Olivia rushed to go to work and even agreed about kindergarten, Liam raised his voice. Stop, Olivia, your business is children. When they get older, then, if you don't change your mind, go work. And here's what I thought. You somehow strangely love children, Olivia, ready to palm them off on strangers. You disappointed me. As if he nailed Olivia with this his Allah. It turns out Liam doesn't know, doesn't feel how she loves children and him. So something Olivia does wrong. But how should it be? No, here Liam returning and she will definitely talk to him. Not about insurance, she won't say a word about it. She'll talk about them. After all, they live like strangers. Externally, everything seems good, but Olivia is constantly with children and they almost without father. They hardly see him. Okay, flights are flights, but even his free time Liam spends not with them. Late in the evening, having put the children to bed, Olivia sits at the laptop. Recently, it became for her both occupation and entertainment. Again, Olivia got the laptop from Liam. He bought himself a new latest model and gave her the old one. He showed Olivia how to watch cartoons with children, showed how several sites work. Olivia immediately grabbed the medical one. It was interesting to her, and she understood everything. Then accidentally went to one tourist site. Olivia had never been anywhere, but hoped that here Liam's vacation, and they all together will go to the sea. Probably Sophia too, but how without her? Liam won't agree. But for the C, Olivia will keep silent, agree. Although the mother-in-law several times rested abroad herself, twice flew on Liam's plane. And abroad, Olivia doesn't think, she doesn't have a foreign passport, and Olivia doesn't know how to get it. And Isabella scolds that not once went anywhere. She with her family already 3 times was, twice in Mexico and once in Jamaica, told rapturously how beautiful there, insisted that Olivia also see this beauty. Well, maybe somehow Olivia will see. Here, talk to Liam, he will take and agree. Olivia switches to New Year's. In 3 days, December 31st, the tree on the balcony, but to decorate it, Olivia most likely again will have to, and again most likely she with children will have to meet New Year at Sophia's, like labor service and her children's service. Something tells Olivia that Liam from the flight won't make it to the holiday. Again, there will be some delay and nothing to say. Olivia mechanically opens the laptop, goes to the site of one tourist company, and sees that there are last-minute tours to Miami on the ocean at a very, very reasonable price. Departure in the morning of December 31st. Olivia rushes to the kitchen. She doesn't know yet that the decision to go there is already in her, but first to the cabinet on the shelf with cereals. There, already 6 years in opaque jars from imported baby food lie money. No, she doesn't hide them from Liam, just puts there small amounts that remain with Olivia after going to the supermarket. She hasn't looked into this jar for a long time, hasn't counted the money, and here's they came in handy. Olivia, having recounted, understands that she will quite manage with the available sum. They will go for a week at most, and she began to pack children's things, tried to take minimum, about herself definitely minimum, and felt that it became easy and even joyful for her. Now, Olivia wanted Liam not to come, not to prevent them from going to the sea. And to the mother-in-law, Olivia won't say anything. To Liam, she'll write a note about Sophia and SMS from the airport. But with Isabella, Olivia will talk right now. The time difference is decent, so at Isabella's, it's still only evening. And the friend supports her, says that long hasn't heard smart speeches from Olivia. Even don't doubt, go, I imagine the joy of your rascals. Yes, only for this it's worth. Well, and now, confess, to throw you money? Only don't refuse, I can. Give the card number. From money, Olivia refused, convinced Isabella that she carefully read everything. It turns out enough. If anything, promised to call already from the sea. As stubborn as remained, grumbled Isabella, but look, call, don't suffer there. Make a holiday for the children. It turns out that Olivia, as a wife, for the first time herself made a decision and carried out what she planned. Didn't say a word to Sophia. Liam also didn't wait, limited to a note. But how Noah and Amelia rejoiced. Everything was novel to them, the long road itself, then the hotel modest but not far from the sea. Well, and the ocean, though winter but still huge with the shore on which they walked, looked for beautiful sea pebbles, listened how the waves whisper this and that. Exactly twice they roared. On the empty beach in the resort city and in winter there were enough entertainments for children, cinemas and of course, but there was also a park with green trees and bushes, and in it attractions and bright carts which cheerfully pulled small but strong donkeys. In the cart sat children and not a single gloomy face. And here on the embankment were lined up close to each other cafes, and in them such goodies. Here's in such a cafe Olivia met Liam, and to meet him here she didn't expect at all. She with children entered the cafe. Amelia and Noah immediately sat at the far free table by the window and impatiently waited when the waiter would approach them so Mom would order. What exactly they would order they decided when leaving the hotel. They wanted hot chocolate and cake. The children sat side by side with their backs to the entrance door, and only then Olivia understood what luck it was that neither Amelia nor Noah saw who entered the cafe, and entering the cafe was Liam, and not alone. Next to him walked a young and very pretty woman. In Liam's arms was a boy about 3 years old. One could not particularly peer. The boy was a copy of Liam. Liam and his companion were so occupied with conversation that they didn't look around. Noticing almost at the entrance a free table, they sat at it. Liam didn't let go of the boy, or maybe the boy didn't let him go, tightly hugging his neck, and Liam, holding the boy with his free hand, hugged that young woman and kissed her several times. If this weren't her, Olivia's Liam, she would think that before her a happy family. So probably it was. It remained only to determine who Olivia with children is for Liam. Here's to stand up now and find out. Isabella probably would do so. Well, with Isabella, such simply couldn't happen. This happened to Olivia, and need to do so that the children don't see Liam and that he doesn't see neither her nor children and doesn't hear their voices. Olivia bent to the children and said that if they will talk in whispers, and she will answer them also in whispers, but as if, and all they will play such a game. Who quieter will say, they wait edition of hot chocolate and cake. Noah and Amelia's eyes joyfully sparkled, and the children amicably nodded heads, and Olivia contrived, waited the moment when Liam again kisses his companion and put the phone to work, photographing them. If asked her at that moment why she does this, hardly and intelligibly she would answer, but somewhere inside already was born a plan. No, not revenge. This Olivia definitely knew. A plan of cardinal decision to break this her today's seeming to many prosperous life. And what will be then her life and her children, Olivia didn't think. She thought only about what she needs to do now. But the situation resolved without Olivia. Liam called the waiter, paid, kissed his companion and the boy, and left. And Olivia remembered, today he definitely has a return flight, means he will fly away. And suddenly her legs themselves carried her to that table where sat the stranger with her son. Having whispered on the go to the children to sit quietly and she will come now, Olivia headed to the woman's table with the boy. "May I?" she asked, and without waiting for an answer, sat on the free chair. The woman raised her eyes to Olivia. In them was bewilderment and some confusion. Olivia quickly found in her phone a family photo taken accidentally in autumn by Liam's friend. On it, was visible Liam hugging Olivia, and with them Amelia and Noah, who, and this Olivia noticed, were very similar to this 3-year-old boy. The woman involuntarily extended her hand and took Olivia's phone. For some time she peered at the screen, then raised to Olivia big gray eyes in which stood tears, and to him already approached Olivia's children. They didn't wait for mom and went to look for her. And appeared before the woman real characters whose similarity with her son was visible to the naked eye. "Only that left having said goodbye to you, my husband, father of these children," quietly said Olivia. "I so understand that he is also the father of this boy. Maybe we'll talk?" "Let's talk." The stranger's voice frankly trembled, but not with children. "Indeed," agreed Olivia, "better not with children. If you have a free evening, maybe we'll meet in this same cafe at 7 o'clock. There's a children's room. We'll send the children there to play and talk. Confidently, we both need this." On that they agreed. Olivia didn't recognize herself. Now she was the leader, the stranger, the lead. And Isabella always reproached Olivia that she almost never shows initiative, just follows someone. "Will you ever command the parade?" Isabella even got angry. Olivia only nodded her head, but very doubted this. And here would see her now, Isabella. But nothing. Olivia will tell her everything as soon as she finds out everything. First, she'll tell Isabella. And what actually to find out? Not blind Olivia. With her own eyes, she saw how Liam kissed this young woman, how he didn't let the boy off his hands. Not casual acquaintances, they. Liam. But first Olivia will meet with this young, and here Olivia immediately admitted, beautiful woman, dressed much more stylish and expensive than she, Olivia. No, to make a scene Olivia doesn't intend. Yes, and doesn't know how. But to remain in ignorance she no longer intends. After all, long there was a premonition that everything is not so in their house, in their family, and those weak attempts to find out, to figure out why Liam changed so, weren't crowned with success. Again, all because Olivia intuitively feared that her husband would take and say that he doesn't love her anymore. And children apparently also doesn't love. He rejoiced or pretended when he learned that Noah will be, and Amelia rejoiced, but also possibly, even surely, only pretended. Olivia long ago understood the difference in what Noah and Amelia mean to her and what they mean to Liam. More honestly, to say nothing mean. Probably Liam is sure that since he gives money, then nothing more from him is worth demanding. So who's to blame? Olivia. She accepted such Liam's position, as she accepted the attitude to herself and children of the mother-in-law. But today's meeting is out of competition. To say that on a long flight that hardly will manage to make it to New Year, knowing that and doesn't intend home for the holiday, that it's not important to him what New Year they will have, and what Olivia's at all not in account, and to spend time here even without calling. No, but there is a limit even for Olivia. And here's again the same cafe, this place of their meeting. Before ordering coffee, Olivia asks the waiter to take the children to the playroom. Noah, confidently on the rights of the oldest of the whole trio, takes the boy by the hand, not suspecting that this is his brother. Amelia also doesn't lag. She gets the second hand of the boy. He, as if knows Amelia and Noah long ago, goes with them, and the woman with anxiety looks after the children. "Don't worry," tells her Olivia. "My children won't offend him. By the way, what's your son's name?" Here, Olivia learns both the boy's name and Mom's name. "This is Elijah and Emma." In response, Olivia names herself and her children, and further briefly omitting emotions tells that married to Liam already 7 years. When she names the city where her family lives, Los Angeles, Emma shudders. She also lives in this city. Later, it will turn out that they live in different neighborhoods. This probably explains that they never crossed. Olivia questioningly looks at Emma. Now her turn to tell. And Emma tells. Olivia, for some reason, believes every her word and involuntarily notes that this woman, contrary to bourgeois logic, becomes more and more likable to her. Maybe because both got caught on the same hook. Emma, for example, got caught so 4 years ago. Parents stunned her, declared that divorcing. The family was more than well off. Emma knew no refusal in anything but typical and didn't become. She wasn't interested in companies where dominated only parties, sleepovers practically with the first comer, alcohol, and even something stronger. At first, Emma tried to talk about Just Red book that hooked her, then about a performance of the Capitol Theater for once come to their not capital city on tour, but saw that no one needs this and very soon earned the nickname White Crow. Offended was only at the very beginning, then became indifferent. And here, just on the third course, began studying the specialty, and Emma headlong went into studies. She wanted to become a designer, wanted to succeed in this, dreamed that she would have a name. Therefore, parents' divorce put Emma in a stupor, and when she heard that each of them already built new relationships, generally didn't know what to think. But so it was. Mom flew to Chicago to her new husband. Dad's everything was banal to disgusting. He married his secretary. Of course, that one had legs from ears and everything else in the same vein, but both Mom and Dad swore that Emma was and will be their favorite daughter. They left her the big parental apartment, having issued all documents. Dad handed a card and gave word that every month will transfer quite a round sum. To drop money on the card promised Mom too. Still, a couple of days they stayed in this apartment in threes. Then Mom flew to Chicago. Dad, as a gentleman, waited for this and moved to recently bought by him country house where he was going to live happily with his young wife. And here Emma exploded. She quit the university and flew to New York. Why exactly to New York, Emma knew. She was there already twice, and she liked both the fogs and the constant drizzling rain. Here's exactly the rain Emma lacked. She all the time wanted to cry. In childhood, so much didn't want and didn't cry, and now, having become essentially unnecessary to parents, Emma was going in foggy New York to cry out with tears all her resentment. She succeeded so that returning home to the airport, she arrived if not calm, then indifferent. Thought that further will live as the card falls. Flew home Emma business class, was going to sleep but no matter how tried didn't succeed. Then she pulled out from laid out in a special pocket on the back of the seat that was before her glossy magazine. On its cover was their city airport and stood a young, handsome pilot. Looked at the signature under the snapshot. Yes, this is the airport in her city, and the beauty on the snapshot, not a disguised model, but really the second pilot of one of the planes flying abroad. Emma fleetingly noted that just on such a plane she is flying now, and finally she managed to sleep. After landing, waited for luggage. She had only one travel bag on wheels, not heavy. This time, Emma even didn't look at souvenirs, didn't go to boutiques. New York was to her, well, to dry her eyes, and it helped her do it. But here's how almost empty bag's wheel came off. She didn't understand. Followed with eyes where it rolled, although understood that to attach it herself she won't be able. And the wheel already picked up the pilot, the same from the magazine cover. He offered to help carry the bag to the taxi. It turned out to them in one direction. Well, and further, Emma gave her phone number. Before that, they got acquainted, and the same evening, Liam invited her to drink coffee. Well, this gentleman, said Emma, knew from that company which in the university ignored, but agreed. And further, it spun, whirled. Emma on the first evening told that now she's an orphan with living parents or an overgrown abandoned child, and about everything else, including leaving the university, also told. Confessed that flew to New York to cry while there. There, no one knows her. Led now much easier. Liam listened attentively, and every way let know that understands Emma. About himself told a little, said that recently buried dad. Mom holds up, he tries to see her more often. He lives in his apartment, this is parents' gift. Flies a lot, not on all holidays and is home, but his job is such. Emma asked how he is on the magazine cover, although here she didn't hide. The shot is very successful, impresses, and outed that the nature is suitable. Liam about this his job told, didn't hide that he likes, and then he works on the authority of the airline. Now the company declares family values, and Liam suspects that soon he will have to portray husband and dad in shots. And in reality, asked Emma, are you not husband and not dad? No, without hesitation, he answered, in search, but seems already found, and expressively looked at Emma. And further, everything went. Liam began often to stay with her, didn't invite to himself, and immediately explained why. Mom instructed the concierge to look after him. She long dreams that Liam marries. Well, in learning that a girl comes to him, yes, such beautiful, won't give passage, insisting on acquaintance. Liam is ready to introduce Emma to Mom even today, but his mom is a domineering woman, for Liam ready into fire and water. And Emma hasn't recovered from her stress yet. Hears and doesn't want Liam that between Mom and Emma some misunderstanding comes out. Very afraid to lose Emma. Emma understood that by the law of the genre, she should have made her a proposal, but pride didn't allow even to hint at this. Then she decided that she needs to work. Possibly Liam's mom won't suit that Emma's still on parents' maintenance, and the divorced, and at any moment their financial help may stop. In the new family, quite likely other rules, and if Mom hardly will give birth to a child to her Canadian husband, then Dad's young wife easily will do it. Emma finds work in one design bureau. Liam just a whole week was on a flight and didn't know this. Emma was going to tell him only circumstances sharply changed. It turned out that she is pregnant. But about her pregnancy, Emma immediately didn't dare to say. Seems and considered herself modern, but somehow uneasy was that without husband waiting for a child. That she will keep the child, Emma decided immediately. Liam, when she nevertheless told him, rejoiced, reacted like those future dads about whom almost all speak. He hugged Emma and said, son will be. Yes, then they almost quarreled. This already was Liam's reaction to that Emma started working. He even said that able to provide her and the child and insistently persuaded to leave work. But Emma didn't agree. True, it was awkward at the firm. All knew that Emma not married, but no one spoke about it. When Emma gave birth, Liam stood in the reception and didn't leave until congratulated him with a son. By idea, now was the time to formalize relations. Then the son could be registered on Liam's surname. But Emma so and didn't hear the proposal. Liam took them from the maternity hospital and himself flew, only found a nanny. Emma wanted to refuse the nanny, but then was even glad that there is such an experienced helper. The son, whom Emma herself registered on her surname, herself gave the name Elijah. 1 month, one by one, cried and screamed at night. Yes, and during the day was restless, until it turned out that he has hip dysplasia, but appointed proper treatment. Came to them home, experienced masseuse. Emma bit her lips to blood hearing when not cries during massage. Once, Liam became a witness, yes, not Nava cry, and couldn't stand, went out to the landing. Then Elijah's teeth were cutting. Torment still that was for Emma, perhaps more than for Elijah. Liam also couldn't calmly listen how son cries. Emma already knew, or as she said to herself, calculated Liam. He by nature was soft, didn't like to swear and argue. He always managed to bypass the sharp corners. Gradually, Emma stopped thinking about marriage, maybe resigned or own dignity didn't allow. With her mom, Liam so and didn't introduce, and she probably even didn't know that she has a grandson. Well, since so, let it be so. Liam was caring and attentive, and this was enough for Emma. and that his job was such, well, Emma knew that he is a pilot. But at every opportunity, they in threes, even for a week, chose abroad, to the sea. Here's and this time went to the sea, and this Emma wanted to Miami. She still schoolgirl was here with parents, just at such time of year, and remained in her memory winter sea, riotous greenery, and special air. Well, and further, realizes, saw them in the cafe, and guessed. "Do you hate me?" asked Emma. Olivia, without thinking, answered, "No. For what?" "I'll say rudely, but very much want exactly so to say. Each of us has noodles on ears from Chef Liam, because we with you in one boat." "Need something to do, you agree?" "Olivia." Emma looked her in the eyes. "I give word that I'll stop all relations with Liam. He is your husband, father of 2 children. I even didn't suspect about this. Forgive me if you can." "Probably this looks strange," said Olivia, "but you are not guilty, and I have nothing to forgive you. We have one only difference. He is officially my husband, officially father of Noah and Amelia, and it started with me the same as with you. He struck me with his appearance and attention. Therefore, I ran to marry him, and with his mom I got acquainted. This is your luck that you don't know her. She is a domineering woman. Liam is a mama's boy. On this account, I long have not an iota of doubt. Only Sophia, and here I have no doubt not about you, not about giving, nothing knows. And if she knew, even can't imagine what she would do, but only not to the detriment of Liam. Guilty most likely would be only you. Now you listen to me. Means when Amelia was born, at you everything just spun with Liam, and I at this time breathed from fear for daughter, couldn't. Amelia so hard lived the first months, breast milk I burned out because of high temperature. Where it came from, still don't know. Hears and starved from one another, and 3 formula refused. Constant vomiting, until we with the district pediatrician picked her Swiss formula. Came the mother-in-law, a minute or two, listens how Amelia cries, and after her, Noah. He was only 2 years old, had to immediately become older brother. I then myself beat like a fish on ice. Liam I didn't touch. Favorite husband, how job he has, responsible, provides for the family. As now I hear these words of Sophia and Belle, she hammered them into my head firmly. And here's, you know, Emma, I now understand that then cared Liam, though here, well done. No resentment on you I have. Know you recently, but sure that you wouldn't accept his care then when you would understand that somewhere there 2 small children live. Well, yes, Liam provided for us, helped, didn't help. And I, okay, so he didn't pay attention to children. Then in the cafe, when I saw you and him, Liam as if first time saw that he building well communicates and Elijah with him. I imagine how important this is for you. Only here's what I think. Very may be that they alone, we with you, at Liam, still children are, or may be. Very similar that weak Liam towards women, and they yields to him in everything. This is understandable. Who doesn't want family such handsome and breadwinner husband who polite voice, moreover hand never raises? Never thought that want to revenge Liam for her children, for herself in the end, for you and to Elijah. Would see now my friend Isabella, who always reproached me for being a quiet one, word for myself say can't. Can turns out and say. Well, don't know how, but say. As soon as we arrive, immediately file for divorce, and nothing I need from him. Here Sophia may not worry. On Liam's apartment we with children won't claim. I'll rent housing, return to work, ask, they won't help with kindergarten. So you, Emma, can safely stay with Liam if you love. Probably much can forgive, and I apparently already don't love and don't forgive him. Wait, Olivia. Emma boldly took her by the hand. For me, Liam, no more, and here's what I want to offer you. You only don't refuse immediately. We have Elijah and big apartment. It's mine. The head of the kindergarten where Elijah goes is well known to me. I helped several groups and the lobby with design. Sure that she will take your children to her kindergarten. Mean that you agree to live with me. Until agree, strange offer probably. Not strange for many would be if we clutched each other's hair, but believe that it seems to me as if we don't feud now and in the future won't. And then so happened that I essentially have no not only parents but friends. Such friend as your Isabella definitely no, but from you as from a friend wouldn't refuse. Emma, not hiding, wiped tears, and Olivia also had tears in eyes. Then it turned out that they fly home on the same day. There was fear that the pilot may turn out to be Liam, but he was on another flight. So both independently got home, and Olivia immediately began to pack things, mainly children's, well, and toys of children, of course. And at this time, Emma called her. She told that Liam just came to her. They talked. Emma told about knowing about his second family, Emma and Elijah, therefore left with children. Will file for divorce herself, and just in case forwards him the photo from the cafe where he with Emma and Elijah, and doesn't intend to destroy this, her insurance, in case if Liam will violently be perplexed. One more message Olivia sent to the mother-in-law, almost with the same text, this photo, and turned off the phone. Emma got up, went to the bedroom, and brought Olivia a new SIM card. Maybe you replaced the number. I changed mine. Now I'll give you. And that same evening, both had new phone numbers. Then they decided that tomorrow we'll try to solve the issue with kindergarten for Noah and Amelia. Emma said that we'll manage herself. Olivia let goes to her dentistry. Maybe with work we'll figure out immediately. Then, if with kindergarten the issue resolves, needed will be all sorts of medical certificates for children. Here, at least a day enough. Collect them, and immediately file for divorce. Olivia already figured that big money here not required, and small she has. How to proceed with Liam about this, they didn't talk. Each thought that needs something to undertake, but both understood that first need to settle problems with kindergarten, work, Olivia, and divorce. It took a little more than a week. Somehow, Sophia learned where Olivia works now and showed up to her. Flew into the office, ignoring both the doctor and the patient sitting in the chair, and began to reprimand that Olivia hung on her the insurance. This every month. Big money from modest pension of Sophia. That this is how the daughter-in-law settles scores with her family. Of course, about grandchildren, nothing even didn't ask, or possibly didn't have time. The doctor came to himself and under white hands led the furious lady out of the office. And to Emma, a tantrum arranged Liam. He nevertheless tried to come to her in the apartment, having times that at this time son in kindergarten and Emma works at home. Liam then swore love to her, then pitifully justified that Hears was going to tell everything to the legal wife. Emma didn't listen and exhibited him, warning that next time will call the police, and herself was surprised. Well, here's no feeling she has to Liam left, only as they say, hands itch. Liam must answer for everything. And again in the evening, having put children to bed, they sit in the kitchen, tell each other what happened during the day, how children spent the day. They already know. Olivia is glad that in the kindergarten both liked. They now go accompanied by Olivia in the mornings, and in the evening children picks up Emma. So Olivia calmly works until the closing of dentistry, and Emma and Olivia saw that the kids made friends. While there wasn't a single clarification of relations, Noah's authority not disputed, not Amelia's Elijah. True, the children have one claim, why they can't be in one group, and seems the explanation of two moms doesn't satisfy them. But nothing to do, plenty communicate at home, and need to see this trio. Here's how nature or genetics disposes. Quite recently learned each other, children not only quickly made friends, but amazed their moms with identical gait, some identical gestures. The children were very similar to each other. So thought Olivia and Emma. Sooner or later they will have to tell that all of them have one father. And that evening, in their not simple situation, intervened Isabella from 39 lands. She, hearing Olivia's voice who called to say that she now has another phone number, ordered friend, tell what happened to you, I feel, and take into account to deceive and refuse a pregnant woman can't. Olivia even was taken aback, but well done, Isabella, once again will become mom. But so the friend wanted, a daughter, let inborn girl to be like Isabella, and Isabella already angrily demands that Olivia tell everything. I turn on speakerphone, says Olivia. With Emma, she has the right to hear everything. And Olivia tells about long hiding her head in the sand, tried to explain Liam's behavior, his busyness and attachment to mom. About mom, her mother-in-law, who never cared about Olivia and grandchildren. About Miami and meeting in the cafe where she met Emma and another child of Liam. About that Emma such same deceived as Olivia. About that Olivia left Liam in divorces. Emma also broke up with him. That now she lives in Emma's apartment and very grateful to her for this. Their children still don't guess that by father native to each other made friends, and with them generally no problems. That Olivia returned to work in her dentistry. In short, almost half an hour lasts Olivia's monologue, and Olivia doesn't interrupt, only yammers, and Olivia hears this, sniffs. But Olivia wouldn't be Olivia if didn't intercept the initiative. She said, "Listen, Liam's harem, and remember." Hearing harem, Olivia and Emma involuntarily laughed and felt gratitude. Olivia's joke didn't offend but cheered up. And further, Olivia issued commands point by point. She said that both must file for alimony. For Olivia will be easier, for Emma need to do DNA test. And let hide their pride somewhere. Money for children, big these will be money, or quite modest they for children. Life is unpredictable thing, to risk children both have no right. Open for each of the three an account and let money from such dad drip there. Further, this story must get publicity. Thank God now this is simple, there's internet. I guess shameful for you to bring to wide public your mistake, pride will be infringed. Well, let and further your Liam live at ease, crippling life of the next fool. So, dear harem, and write poster story, people must know their heroes. Someone your experience may save from such misfortune as Liam and his mommy. And keep in mind, I also have internet. Wander sites, I can. And try only to keep silent, Olivia. Yes, and you, Emma, believe that I because of you too, if Olivia for you, then I. So write, tell, warn, and understand I on control. Kiss, and hung up. I never had such a friend, said Emma, only now appeared, even two. I don't exaggerate, Olivia, and I now have two. Olivia warmly smiled at Emma. But let's think. Olivia won't lag, and it seems to me she is right, although how to do this I never exhibited in the internet. Means we'll debut, Emma already was ready to start. We'll like Ilf and Petrov, write with 4 hands. And again, both relieved, laughed. Hardest was with DNA test, but Emma achieved that Liam passed it. Naturally, the test confirmed his paternity, so alimony to Elijah were guaranteed. The court awarded alimony to Olivia's children. Immediately after that, they opened accounts for children and reported to Olivia. She praised them, but didn't forget to hurry with exposure of moral character of handsome Liam. Emma took upon herself collecting photos. These were shots from glossy magazines where so often appeared Liam. These were wedding photos and Liam's. Found accidental photo on which not only Liam with Olivia and children, but his mom in full parade. Turns out Olivia accidentally grabbed the shot when packed children's albums. So fame got former and failed mother-in-law of Olivia and Emma. Oh, and she got angry when one then another acquaintance called Sophia and as if sympathetically asked how such could happen. Although on the site, in several publications, Emma and Olivia told everything as is and illustrated with photos. It turned out that so much constrained our women and men. On publications literally poured responses. Commenting what posted Olivia and Emma, women told their stories, described their situations. Many thanked that having read about Liam and themselves dared to publicize their stories, and not only publicize but insist on DNA test, and got hope that father who refused child born out of wedlock will pay alimony. And then stories interested city print media, after them 2 local TV channels. One of them, on the basis of Olivia and Emma's story and Liam, opened a new show, main theme of which was Away with Fatherlessness. First guests and heroines of the show became Olivia and Emma. Need I say how they resisted? Didn't want to end up on TV screens, but to go against the idea to restore justice couldn't and coped with their task. Now already to the TV channel went letters and reviews. What to say, and the topic is relevant, unfortunately, was and remained. Need to give credit to the program's authors. They didn't put first the goal to brand with shame such parents. They emphasized children who either never knew their fathers or hard experienced their departure from the family. And the show began to invite teachers, child psychologists, social workers, and representatives of juvenile justice. The latter, with their speeches, especially impressed the audience, because juvenile justice deals with and responsible for justice in cases of offenses committed by minors. In numbers and facts, juvenile justice irrefutably proved that juvenile offenders more from incomplete families, and psychologists accessibly explained why exactly so. Another side about which found two spoke, this is drug addiction, were among participants of the show and those who didn't fear to tell through what parents had to go to pull their child from the abyss called drug. Even in full and quite prosperous family, such trouble can happen, but much rarer than where no father. In short, it turned out that Olivia and Emma raised a whole wave, and if at first they tried somehow to distance from such shows, then understood, and not without Isabella's help, who insisted on their participation in this theme, away with fatherlessness, that can't be aside from such cruel problem. For some time, Emma and Olivia even forgot about Liam. One got divorce and alimony for children, two also achieved alimony for Elijah. Well, in themselves, Liam was absolutely not needed, as and his mom. But the airline didn't let them forget. Learning what resonance caused the story with their pilot, one might say the face of the company, the management took measures. They fired Liam, about what publicly announced both on sites and in newspapers. There, the general director of the company in interview told that taken urgent measures because they fully support the theme raised by the press and deeply regret that didn't recognize their pilot, even didn't guess that he capable of such deceit. Learning about the upcoming dismissal of her son intervened Sophia. She, significantly moderating her arrogance, half a day hung in the reception of the general director of the airline and literally begged to replace the formulation of the reason for Liam's dismissal. And begged. The director waved his hand and gave command to record that Liam is dismissed in connection with the end of the contract term, and all his displeasure and even contempt both to Liam and to his pushy mommy expressed in a negligent nod of the head at farewell. Only this replacement of the dismissal reason little helped Liam. For some time he, by mom's expression, underwent rehabilitation, sat in his apartment, nowhere going out. Maybe thought and repented. Maybe shuffled resentments that he didn't deserve not such publicity, not dismissal. What, one such? What money didn't give for children? There are heaps of guys who, on the contrary, sit for the time being on necks of gullible women and then goodbye. And not on TV we brand them, not on sites we rents. He tried to find work as a pilot in another city, but either there too used internet, or there was another reason, only everywhere Liam was refused. Refused also in two firms dealing with logistics. At first, consoled mom. She every day came to Liam, came with already prepared lunch and dinner or brought products and cooked in son's apartment. The second option began to irritate Liam. Mom from time to time performed with accusatory speech against Olivia and Emma, and again that finally even Liam noticed about grandchildren, whom now she had 3, even didn't mention. And then at mom appeared irritable notes in voice. Money became simply not enough, and debts for alimony grew. Here mom let slip about the insurance on which so stupidly fell for. Liam, hearing this, even jumped from the couch. Mom, so here's what your good intentions. You allowed that such may happen to me. I see nothing strange, parried Sophia. Plane and pilot not the safest in life. Only with you, my boy, happened even worse. Who are you now, and on what further to live going? I know that, and to advertise to shoot you no longer call. About pilot cabin generally silent. In short, dear son, get a job, and by the way, did you pay for utilities? I honestly am surprised how Olivia hasn't snapped up your apartment yet. After all, 2 your children stayed with her. Alimony you don't pay. Debt grows both for alimony and for apartment. You think, well, son, I have no more money. That day Liam for the first time regretted that he doesn't know how to drink. Although, if he knew, money even for low-grade alcohol he didn't have. He had none at all. And then Liam decided to pawn the old laptop, mentally thanking Olivia that she didn't take it, and go as far as the ticket on the train will suffice. This was his first independent decision, and first housing in an old village house at one old woman who didn't ask much money for lodging. And work in this god-forsaken village was found. There was a daredevil who conceived to create here a farm, having bought cattle from those who no longer could prepare feed for cows. This newly baked farmer turned out to be Liam's accidental fellow traveler. They talked, and the farmer offered work, needed to weld metal gates and install a fence. Liam didn't think long. He immediately agreed, although before this never held a welding machine in hands. But here's life forces. Had to read something. Happiness to the village internet reached. Liam fussed a little more than a week, but his work in the farmer was satisfied. Honestly paid, and Liam for the first time himself transferred money to children. Himself calculated how much needs so that all 3 equally and transferred. And suddenly felt that it became easier for him. Self-digging and self-flagellation he didn't engage, feared that will dig to such that at least dive into the ice hole. And some landmarks still loomed before him, and Liam began to live further, fearing to scare away this landmark. To live and work on the farm. Now behind him were all iron and mechanical works. Later added electrics. In it he also not particularly understood. Again, internet helped. Well, and further 2 years passed. Neither Olivia nor Emma knew what with Liam and where he is, but now on children's cards regularly came alimony, and regularly the sum grew. Means they said between themselves, somewhere works. That no longer flies about this knew long ago. No, neither one nor the other didn't gloat. Yes, they almost forgot in what bind both were, and Liam, well, what Liam, if changed means not in vain their story got publicity. And, by the way, about them now already all forgot. No longer peer into faces of Emma and Olivia, seeing something familiar. Olivia, yielding to Isabella's storm and supported her Emma, continued studies, becoming a student of medical university, but so and didn't quit work in her dentistry. Here they met her halfway, giving only second shifts. With Emma, they agreed that as soon as Olivia gets diploma will restore in the university, and Emma, moreover, that 2 courses behind her. There is in favorite work and already not remote. After successfully passed 3 projects, Emma was appointed deputy head of industrial design department. This direction she almost didn't know and long hesitated until Olivia almost ordered Emma not to chicken out to try. Olivia now easily could command and give orders, after all life taught. Isabella this immediately noticed and didn't delay with comment, and you none other than Olivia, adult now. Now here's think me how with you to talk. Olivia and Emma had much in common, and main in this common were their children. They pleased moms. Noah studied excellently. Amelia already independently read, so and Elijah made progress in reading, and all 3 went to sports club, boys to soccer, and Amelia quickly became the best in artistic gymnastics section. If there was in life of Olivia and Emma white spots, as Isabella said, so this freedom from relations with men. Probably early still not healed, therefore, and didn't hurry to answer signs of attention of opposite sex. And signs were enough. But here, definitely having burned on milk, you'll blow on water too. Only as, again, Isabella said, and now they communicated via Skype and saw the mischievous smirk of Isabella, saw her and inseparable trio of children, the youngest in which was the long-awaited daughter, so as Isabella said, still not evening.